David Vinokurov, CEO, Fandom, on the Dales Report. All right, we are joined with the CEO of Fandom Sports, David Vinokurov. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic, Chad. How are you?
Good. We've been following this closely here at the Dales Report, Fandom Sports, and it's definitely caught our attention. Let's begin with your advisory board. You know, you've gotten some big name players, obviously, associated with the board that include John Armstrong, Guy Bendove, Neil Duffy. So explain to me how this company is generating so much interest by a lot of leaders within the space.
Well, I think that we fill a unique niche in the space in that we're non-competitive. You know, we're not looking to supplant, large and established industry players. We are a complementary agnostic service that allows people who are watching and engaging with esports to play along, increase their engagement level regardless of what platform that they're watching the events on. We have a very unique technological platform that allows us to share the revenues that we earn through our advertising partners with potential partners, with those viewers that are then redeemable for merchandise, swag, benefits with either the team or the channel that they're consuming the content from. So I think we fit nicely into existing business models across the globe.
So now that you've acquired all these leaders within your board, what does that translate into as far as a business model?
Well, from the business model, it's all about having the right partnerships and demonstrating that value to people that see the benefit of working with us. So between Neil, John, Guy, we have Wim Stocks on the board as well. We've had a new a member join our board of directors. He works with some of the Johnson's son works with some of the top family offices in China and in North America. There's a lot of opportunities in the space. Even though some people, in North America think it's a relatively new industry, there are established players. There are new and exciting opportunities. We feel that from a content side, a technical side, and ultimately a financial side, that we can put the right pieces of the puzzle together with the help of our board and really make an impact on what's growing in an industry that's growing leaps and bounds depending what sector you look at it. Some more than others, right?
So talking about your blockchain protocol, you have size and scale. You're an industry leader within that. So talk to me a little bit about that and how do you compare against peers within the space?
Okay, so the blockchain, it's very unique in that it allows us to process 50,000 transactions per second. So as I was mentioning before, we have a built-in ecosystem where people are able to share in the revenues that we collect as a company for advertising new products and or services to our audience base. We can aggregate those funds, deposit them to secure wallets anywhere in the world. And depending on whether it's our all ages side of the business or our iGaming side, people can make predictions and earn prizes, or go ahead and start making wagers depending on the jurisdiction that they're in, and of course that they're of age and like to wager on sports, sports in our case.
So explain to me how it all works. You have an all ages platform, and in addition to that, you have betting. So the two are completely different. So it's obviously a broader audience that you're going afterwards. So how do the two work?
So basically, the platform itself is all underpinned by the Blaze blockchain protocols. Now, in an all ages side, what we can do, we have numerous data feeds coming into the company.
Okay.
From various different providers. Those data feeds, some of them come from companies that are traditional sports betting organizations that provide feeds to casinos and any other number of online platforms. Now, within those data feeds, our system, we can gamify that data coming in. So as someone is, you may have kids, or people in the audience have kids, and they're watching TV and the children are staring at their phone and they're looking at two different screens at the same time. I even suffer from that problem myself.
Me too.
I'm in good company then. Great.
Yeah.
But as you're doing that, as you're looking on your screen at home, is this person going to use this spell, or are they going to jump out of a helicopter and land in a field or in a lake? And as they're making these predictions, they're earning points, fan coins. Those fan coins are redeemable for merchandise. Now, on the iGaming side of it, they can actually make wagers with proprietary odds, right? So as something is happening in real time, you're able to wager on what you see on the screen or in the phone. And when we're talking about potential partners, we can fit in those capabilities into existing platforms. So it's a very multifaceted tool that increases engagement levels, whether it's on the all ages side via predictions and leaderboards and just another more engagement. It really gamifies the process to the extent that, depending on which jurisdiction it is, we're going to build out a global framework of licenses that people will actually be able to bet fiat currency, all backed by blockchain securitized wallets. So
investment opportunity. Let's look at monetization. How do you plan to make money?
Three ways. Number one, we can license the platform as a white label solution to any of the streaming platforms so that they can keep people within their ecosystem. So whether it's Twitch, obviously, is a large one in North America, YouTube, gaming, in Asia, there's a number of large players that have, significant audience bases. I really don't want to mention any names at this point. You can license the platform very simply and do a revenue share on the advertising. If we don't license the platform to them, we're a standalone platform because, as like I said, it's a dual screen type of system. So it's an advertising model. It's a user aggregation model. As people interact and interact with each other and the content on the screen, each time they see something on the screen, that's an impression. There's cost per impression advertising, cost per action advertising fees. Every time they touch a screen, that's a data point. As we all know, big data, has that big brother connotation, but that data is valuable to people. So that's the second way we can make money. And the third way on the iGaming side is, take a commission of every bet made.
Right.
It's really quite simple and quite transparent, all three of the revenue models. And frankly, it's not do we do this option 1, 2, or 3? We can do all three concurrently and deploy the platform on a customized basis with specific partners in different jurisdictions around the world.
Well, you make some valid points. Collecting data, and as well, you've been working with partners versus acquiring, rather than acquiring, I should say, users on their own, which we all know that can be a big cost. So walk me through. You're obviously well connected, speaking to some pretty influential people within the space. Why are companies working with Fandom? Why are they partnering with you?
So the feedback that we've gotten so far has been really encouraging because it is not, you're not taking eyeballs off of the content. We're adding value to a platform that is broadcasting esports content. So for example, if someone is, spending 2 hours a day on platform X, viewing content that a lot of the times that platform is paying to produce, we can increase that engagement by 5%, 10%, 15%, right? So that's a meaningful impact to a bottom line when you talk about, millions or tens of millions or very large user bases, right? So it's an extra tool that we can come in and provide to these companies, to these more so the companies that are broadcasting the content, say, hey, we can help you increase your user engagement by, X%. That's definitely something that they'd be interested in. It's it's very similar to traditional TV in that, what if you could run a commercial the whole time the show is on, right? We're able to increase that engagement level because we are able to also mirror ads that are coming through on the broadcaster's platform and customize that in any which way. Whether, if you make several predictions in a row, well, lo and behold, you can win a prize that was being advertised on, the League of Legends finals, for example.
Right. So it sounds to me like it's more about elevating all of your partners within the space. So you're looked at as almost like a partner versus going after any sort of competition. Am I correct to think that?
Yes, no, definitely. That's exactly what we're going after. With the content, with the streamers, with the streaming companies that are broadcasting the content,
right?
It's a very crowded ecosystem, and it's a very established ecosystem that companies have significant capital and access to capital and significantly large user bases. So to come in and say, we want to supplant someone or create a whole new paradigm in an industry, sure, it's doable, but it's expensive. And we feel that the platform that we have that's currently very close to getting launched, fits in nicely that it doesn't rock the boat between major players. And if we work with one platform, it doesn't mean that we can't not work with another.
Right.
It's a large enough pie that we can make a meaningful amount of money as a company and provide a significant return to our shareholders, we hope.
Well, makes sense. You mentioned how it's a crowded ecosystem, but one of the things I noticed is that it seems to me that you have an edge in the Chinese market. Companies like Twitch, Facebook, Twitter are not allowed in China, yet you guys are penetrating that market. How are you able to do that, and why is that?
Well, one of the things that is very that we have to be very cognizant of is the fact that the content is created and managed and fenced off, right? Sunday Night Football, I believe it's on ABC. You can't watch it on CBS, right? Because they pay for that content. So people are protective of the content, or vice versa. I'm sorry, I might have confused those letters. But organizations are very protective of the content that they fund and or produce. Some of the larger events, defy that, right? Because the internet, decentralizes that ability. We're not trying to pull people off of one platform and put them onto another. If there's an event, they can play along in ours. We feel that we provide a compelling enough ecosystem that we're not going to step on any toes, and in fact we'll provide a net benefit to the entire industry, hopefully.
Last thing I wanted to ask is, why do you think valuations right now are exploding in the esports betting space? And why is Fandom, it appears to be so undervalued? Because case in point, you look at a company like DraftKings, its current valuation, $20 billion. And then I see Fandom, currently a float of 16 million outstanding shares. I'm looking at this right now. A current valuation of 12 million Canadian dollars. Like, is this too good to be true? It seems like a tremendous upside, given the amount of attention and interest that this space is garnering right now.
Yeah, so I thank you for mentioning us in the company of DraftKings. DraftKings is the direction that the esports gaming is going. DraftKings, it's they're doing fantasy sports in general. You see some other companies that are out. I won't mention their names, and I'm sure they're doing great jobs, but that are focusing specifically on the iGaming side, that are trading at multiples much higher than ours. Now, the metaphor that I like to provide is very simple.
Fans, companies like that are $80, $90 million valuations, right?
There you go. So we're going to have news imminently on the development of that side of the business as well, starting with licensing and building out the infrastructure. John Armstrong on our advisory board has been involved in gaming, close to 25 years now. Some very exciting things we're working on, but you come back to the Las Vegas model, right? If you go to Las Vegas or Macau, for example, which is 10 times the size of Vegas, right near China, you look down the street and you see multi-billion-dollar properties right next door to each other, right on top of each other, right across the street from each other, and you say, well, why would you want to build a casino in one of these cities and go into a business? Well, the question is, how do you get people in the door?
Right.
That's providing service and a quality product. So yeah, some of these companies have significantly higher valuations, but at the end of the day, a bet is a bet is a bet. We're not, I'm not trying to say that we're going to be, the new Las Vegas of esports gaming.
Right.
So someone wins, someone loses. This or that happens. These are binary or multiple choice scenarios. But the question is, do you create a compelling and engaging platform? Do you have a funnel of users that come in? DraftKings being a $20 billion company, if they said, we're going to give everybody $1,000 to open an account at DraftKings, then make it out all the existing companies, that's a race to the bottom.
Right.
So, yes, that is going to be one of the pillars of our revenue stream, but we have so much happening on the all ages side that, lo and behold, when some of our fans do reach an age that, they are able to play that side of the business in a jurisdiction that allows them to, well, lo and behold, we'll lift the velvet rope for them, and please come join us on the iGaming side of things. But in the meantime, play along with your favorite teams, your favorite games, your favorite esports on our all ages platform, regardless of where you consume that content from. And, I think that's our going to be our differentiating factor. And I think a lot of news will be coming out on that front. And like you said, I hope it's a good opportunity for your listeners and our shareholders.
David, appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. And